All right, if you're only studying this video, you for real getting a 60, all right? No higher than that. Maybe, hopefully. I would hope so. In a nutshell, number one, nerves, okay? There's two kinds of systems, endocrine system and nervous system, okay? They both send signals, however, they do it in different ways. The endocrine system is where all the chemicals happen, is where all the hormones are secreted, okay? Your thyroid gland, your testicles, whatever, your ovaries, okay? Endocrine system sends signals via chemicals and hormones, okay? The nervous system, on the other hand, is just a bunch of wires, okay? It's just a bunch of wires throughout your body. Jeez Louise, I need to focus in on this, okay? This is a crash course. It's just a bunch of wiring, and the endocrine system, since it's hormones, you need hormones throughout your whole life. That makes it a more long-term thing. Meanwhile, the nervous system handles a majority of things that are short-term. Okay, for example, my endocrine system needs, my testosterone levels need to be in homeostasis, okay? Throughout my whole life. That's fine, okay? They might trickle down as I get older, okay? That's normal. Nervous system. I touched something hot. Ow! That was fast. That's it. That's basically it. Now, we move on to the nervous system. Nervous system, there's two types of nervous system, okay? Central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Your central nervous system is consisted of your brain and your spinal cord. Any nerves that are not inside of either of those are not your central nervous system, they're your peripheral nervous system. I don't care if they're protruding from your central nervous system. If it's not inside, it's not the central nervous system, okay? Peripheral nervous system is everything else, okay? And you got two different types of nerves in your peripheral nervous system. You got afferent and you got efferent, okay? Afferent, in other words, sensory. Efferent, in other words, motor. Let's see how this works. Okay, right. Okay, you might not see me that well, but that's fine, all right? We got a receptor, we got a brain and spinal cord right here. We got the afferent and efferent right here, okay? Let's say, for example, the receptors on my finger, all right? The receptors right here touch a hot plate. Signals go through the afferent nerve waves into the brain, and then the brain, right, afferent, then the brain sends signals back to my finger through the efferent nerves, okay? The afferent is away from your finger to your brain. Your efferent is entering your finger away from your brain, okay? I touch a hot plate. Efferent, efferent, efferent. Uh-oh. Brain says, you need to move that thing. Efferent, 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 efferent. Yow! Okay, that's it. That's your both. Efferent and efferent. However, while there's one kind of afferent, there's two kinds of efferents. Basically, two kinds of different responses when it comes to, two kinds of responses. There you go. Now, the two kinds of responses are somatic and automatic. The example I just gave you guys was somatic. In other words, it was voluntary. Somatic is voluntary responses, while automatic is involuntary responses, okay? So as you can see, since it was, I can control this. I can control my arm getting away from the hot plate, okay? That's somatic, that's voluntary. Automatic, on the other hand, is involuntary. So let's give another example. A more famous example, okay? The fight or flight. Let's say this receptor, whatever receptor is in, we haven't talked about it yet, but let's say I see danger. The receptors in my eyes, whatever, they go to my brain, and my brain's like, fight or flight, that's not good, right? They send signals all over to my body, okay? My pupils dilate. My adrenaline starts going through the roof. My blood pressure starts going through the roof. I pee my pants. I can't control that. That's automatic. I can't control that, right? That's the most popular example. So when we have automatic, there's two kinds, well, not two kinds of automatic, but there's two states when it comes to your response being automatic, okay? There's sympathetic and there's parasympathetic, okay? Basically, sympathetic is your on switch, all right? See danger, your brain's like, fight or flight mode happens. Your fight or flight mode switches on. That's your sympathetic. Parasympathetic is after the commotion, right? Whatever. Bear's gone. Okay. My adrenaline starts going down. My blood pressure starts going down. All right. I'm feeling fine. Parasympathetic is like, chill out, fam. We good. We're all right. Okay, we're okay. Now, this is your nerves. This is your actual nerve, right? This is where the magic happens. Okay. Now, this is gonna be a little strange on how I'm gonna format this, but I'm going to try my best. I'm gonna try my best to go into a proper order. Okay. First, dendrites. We have these things called dendrites. Okay. Now, basically, what they do is they get the signal to the cell body. That's where the cell body, that's where things happen, okay? The cell body has these things called the rough ER. We talked about the rough ER before. What do rough ER do? It's ribosomes. They make protein. Nerve cells make protein. Neurons make protein. What protein do they make? Neurotransmitters. The neurotransmitters, in other words, the dopamine you get, the pain you get, the freaking, I don't know, happiness, whatever. Dopamine is best example right there. All right, that's your protein. Then you have the nucleus. What is inside a nucleus? You also have mitochondria. Cell body, neurons need mitochondria. Why do neurons need mitochondria? Okay, after the dendrites have sent the signals into your cell and the rough ER has made whatever neurotransmitter it made. By the way, since this is a specialized rough ER, they are called Nissl bodies, okay? Remember that. Rough ER for neurons is Nissl bodies, okay? After it's made all of that, the mitochondria is needed to be able to pump the neurotransmitter from the cell body into the axon. Wow, okay? That's how it happens. That's why your neurons need the mitochondria, so it can pump the neurotransmitters into the next step. By the way, once all this is happening, and then the mitochondria gets the energy to pump it, as soon as this thing is triggered, this portion of your cell body called your axon hillock. Your axon hillock is the point of no return, all right? Once that thing is triggered, whatever neurotransmitter has triggered it is going. Doesn't matter. It's going. It's done for. It's over. It is passing the axon. Whatever. If you have a pain receptor that triggered that thing, you're feeling it. It's over. It's over, man. So the axon is the opposite of dendrites. The axon takes the signal away. Meanwhile, the dendrites gave the signal to the body, but the axon is taking the signal away from the cell body into these things called telodendria, and these which span out to these smaller things called synaptic terminals. Oh, okay. Dendrites receive. RER makes neurotransmitter. Mitochondria gives the energy to pump the neurotransmitter into the axon, into the telodendria, where then they're stored in these synaptic terminals. Okay, what now? Well, you may have noticed 3 names here, okay? There's presynaptic cells, there's synapse, and there's postsynaptic cells. You already know what pre and post means. Before and after, okay? So why is that important? This whole cell that I just described was a presynaptic cell in this particular case, all right? What does that mean? So this postsynaptic cell, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, your neurotransmitters are now in your synaptic terminals, and they're going to be going through this phase, the synapse. We haven't talked about that yet, but they're going to go into these things, the postsynaptic cells, all right? The postsynaptic cells, think of them as the recipients, okay? There's only one kind of presynaptic cell. Kind of depends on the situation. If it's giving if it's making the neurotransmitters and it's sending the neurotransmitters, it's a presynaptic cell, all right? That's the before. Synapse happens, but what about the recipient? The postsynaptic cell. What are those? Well, there's 3 kinds. Well, there's only one kind of presynaptic so far. There's 3 kinds of postsynaptic cells. What are they? All right, it's your muscle cells, it is other nerves, and it is your glands. Those are the only types so far that we've covered that are like 3 types of postsynaptic cells that are so far that we've all covered. All right? But if you only study this video, you're only getting like a 60 at best, okay? So make sure you watch Mr. Robertson's video.